So Val, we usually start our Token Confidence programme with an exercise called Scary Situations, and the purpose of this little bit of video is to tell people and show people how to do that exercise for themselves. So if you're not fortunate enough to come to one of our workshops, we're going to just go through the exercise so that people can download it for themselves off the blog, and then have a little bit of information about how to fill it in.
Sounds like a good idea.
Like I said, it's called Scary Situations, and if you're on the blog you'll find that this is the first downloadable exercise as a PDF, so perhaps you want to go and print it out now if you're intending to do it. Before anybody starts, what we would say, wouldn't we, is that people need to give themselves a little bit of space and time if you're going to undertake this exercise. So perhaps get themselves somewhere where it's not too busy, not too noisy, and where they're unlikely to get interrupted for about 15 minutes.
Yeah,
About right.
that's good.
Okay, so we're just going to take people through the exercise as it stands, and Val's going to be a bit of a guinea pig.
As usual.
Okay, so Scary Situations. Basically, this is it's an exercise where you need to tick how worried or not worried you are about particular situations, and these situations have been chosen purposefully because they're some of those that we know people get worried about, and sometimes these are things that undermine people's confidence. So it's a good place to start to get people aware of what triggers they need to watch out for. Okay, so Val, how would you feel if you had to go for a job interview tomorrow?
A bit scared.
Okay, so if Val was doing this exercise on the Scary Situation sheet, the first question is mark with a tick or a cross how you feel about each of these situations. And the first one is a job interview. You said you'd be a bit scared. So on this side it says no worries, but you didn't say you had no worries. So if you were filling this in, you'd probably put a tick in the second or maybe the third box along, because at the other end it's where people should tick if they feel very worried by that particular situation. So in Val's case, if she had a job interview tomorrow, she's feeling a bit worried.
I'd probably feel prepared though.
Okay, so you wouldn't be so worried and scared that you'd not prepared anything. So something in the middle, maybe in the second or the third box. We'll just take people through the different situations, using you as a guinea pig, Val.
Again.
So how would you feel, Val, if you had to enter a room full of people that you've never met?
I'd be, if I didn't know them, I think I'd be a little bit nervous, you know. Probably, it all depended on the situation, whether or not they were all looking at me, or, you know, or if it was like people were sitting down already, I'd probably feel more comfortable.
Okay, so there's different, at different times you might feel differently about that. But if I said to you, you've got to go and enter a room full of people you've never met right now, what would your immediate reaction be in terms of 1 being, I'm really confident and not worried, 5 being, I'm terrified?
Somewhere in the middle.
Maybe 2 or 3?
Yeah, somewhere in the middle, I guess.
Okay. How would you feel if you had to ask for extra pay or time off from a job you have to do?
Yeah. Well, I probably would be quite confident about that, because I think I'm worth the extra pay.
Okay, so on that one you might put your tick in the no worries box.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking in public, you saying you've done it, and what's quite interesting about that is that probably if we'd asked you that question some years ago when you've not done it so much, you might have been very worried by it, and people shouldn't worry or shouldn't be scared of saying that they're very worried about that particular situation. But it's quite nice to think that with practice and with some of the work that we'll be doing in the Toeconing Confidence Programme, you can get to a stage where, like you, people don't feel quite so worried about it, and they feel able and much more confident about it.
And it's about your preparation.
Yeah,
You know,
indeed.
if you prepare and you know what you're saying and you practice, you know.
That's good. One of the things that some people who've already done this exercise quite often find a little bit scary and a little bit worrying is when you have to talk to people in authority. So by that we mean people like maybe doctors if you're having medical treatment, or people in authority if you're on some kind of, if you're at work or on some kind of course, the teacher or the tutor, people having to have those conversations. Again, some people are very worried by that, some people don't worry about that at all. The next one is, and here's an interesting one, Val. How worried does it make you if I ask you to tell me what you're good at?
That doesn't faze me actually, because I know what I'm good at, and so I'd be fine with that one actually. That's quite a good one.
But it's quite intriguing, isn't it, that quite often the people that come on our workshops, all sorts of people, find it quite difficult to say what they're good at. And so again, if you feel like putting that you're very worried about that, that's absolutely fine. There will be exercises that we do on the blog and in our workshops that change that situation, won't there?
And I guess that over the years I've learned, and I know now, but whereas, as you say, earlier on I wouldn't have been able to say that.
And here's another one that always trips people up, really. How scary is it to tell someone that you're angry with them?
Yeah, that is hard. It's hard because you tend to show that anger in different ways, don't you? Like for example, you might sulk, or you might hold it inside, and then the anger builds up. So if you can express that, that's a really good thing to have to. It enables you.
Sure. And here's another one that is quite scary, I think. However confident you are, we all have moments when it's really difficult to say no to a request from a friend. For lots of reasons.
Yeah, and lots of things get in the way there as well, because you don't want to upset your friend. You want to be able to sort of say what you need to say.
And then the last one on the scary situation survey is trying out a new experience.
Trying out a new experience. It all depends again what it is. Because if it's something you really, really like, then I would enjoy that.
Yeah.
But if I'm not sure again, if I haven't, I don't know my stuff.
Down this end.
Then it would
scary.
be.
So that's all the questions on the scary situation survey. If you're doing this from the blog and you've downloaded and printed this page off, you should now have a page that's got ticks in various boxes. And this is very much about self-awareness. It's about building up an idea of what makes you worried and stressed and fearful, if you like. And then that gives you something to work on in the exercises that will come later. It's just worth saying that you might do this today and put certain answers down, and tomorrow you might do it and get some different answers again, because they're different feelings, and our different situations that we're in each day make us different, and that's absolutely fine. But we start somewhere, don't we?
And I'd like to say that there's no right or wrong to these exercises, because as Rachel says, they do change with whatever you've had or experienced the day before, or something might surface that you know you've forgotten about. So yeah.
Okay. And then just at the bottom of the page for people, so when you've done the exercise at the top, there are just some questions that you can ask yourself, and then you can begin to think about. And we won't go through those in any detail now, except to say that they're obviously meant to make you think about times when you have felt confident and you've felt very good about yourself, and to be able to specifically say when those times were and what those situations were, and equally to be able to say a situation where you felt that your confidence is very low, and to begin to understand what triggers both those sorts of things.
And then how to overcome that.
Yeah. And obviously, once people have done this, then it's time to move on to some of our next exercises, using some of the information that you've done. And just to remind people, give yourself some time, give yourself a little bit of space to do some thinking about yourself and how you feel and what worries you and what doesn't worry you. Because confidence comes from an inner place, and if you're trying to do this with the kids screaming at you, or someone asking for a cup of tea, or whatever, or you're trying to work at the same time, it's not going to be as effective as if you do it with some time and space and no interruptions.
And you are quite very important, and it's me time is important, and to be you and come out of the roles that you normally would have to face in life.
Okay, thank you.